March 15th, 1220. Mirza ibn Yusuf al-Samarkandi secures his interpreter's seal stamps one final time. The tools that have made him the most trusted voice between three empires. The contracts on his desk, half finished in Persian, Arabic, and Chinese scripts, will never need completing. By sunset, there will be no empires left to interpret between. Outside his window, the streets of Samarkand stretch empty toward the city walls, where 200,000 Mongol warriors wait in perfect silence. For 37 years, Mirza has survived by being indispensable, the only man who can speak the language of empires. Persian grain lords, Chinese silk barons, Arabic bankers, they all need him to make their fortunes. But today, none of that matters. His voice has kept three empires from each other's throats, until 5 days ago, when 200,000 Mongol warriors arrived to burn it all down. Mirza had counted on 120,000 soldiers to save his city. Instead, he watched from his rooftop as they abandoned Samarkand in the dead of night, or 20,000 cowards who chose their lives over his. Mirza watched from his rooftop as they slipped away in the pre-dawn darkness, abandoning the greatest trading city in Central Asia to save their own lives. The Khwarezm Shah himself had already fled west, leaving behind an empire that existed now only on maps and in the memories of men like Mirza. When the city's remaining defenders opened the gates on March 20th, they believed they were choosing survival over destruction. The Mongols had sent word through their own interpreters: surrender immediately, and the city would be spared. Resist, and every living thing within the walls would die. Mirza knows 6 languages fluently, but he has never learned the dialect of men who mean exactly what they say. The Mongol commander, Genghis Khan, speaks through a captured interpreter whose hands shake as he translates each word. All residents must gather outside the city walls for census and reassignment. Craftsmen and specialists will be relocated to serve the growing Mongol Empire. Everyone else will be allowed to return to their homes. Mirza stands among the 250,000 souls of Samarkand, pressed together on the plains outside the city they have just lost. He recognizes faces from every corner of the known world. The Chinese silk merchant who taught him Mandarin, the Persian banker whose contracts made them both wealthy, the Turkic caravan leader who brought jade from Khotan. They cluster in their familiar language groups, as if vocabulary could still provide protection. The Mongols have brought efficiency to genocide. Census takers move through the crowd with knotted cords, recording population counts with the same methodical precision they use for livestock. The condemned are separated from the useful in neat, orderly lines. Mirza's linguistic skills save his life and damn his soul. When Mongol administrators discover his fluency in Chinese and Persian, they mark him with a brand indicating his labor category, administrative specialist to be relocated. Around him, the systematic execution begins. The first day after the surrender, March 21st, Mirza translates his first death sentence. A Mongol captain needs to communicate with a group of Persian metalworkers who've been deemed surplus to imperial requirements. The captain's words are simple. You have served your purpose. Walk to the river. Mirza hesitates for only a moment. The metalworkers are looking at him with trust. He has translated their contracts for years, helped their children learn Arabic numbers, shared tea in their workshops. One of them, Hassan the coppersmith, smiles and asks in Persian what the Mongol officer wants. He says, Mirza's voice catches. He says you are to be relocated to work sites by the river. Hassan nods gratefully. The metalworkers gather their families and walk towards the Zirafshan, where Mongol soldiers wait with swords drawn. Mirza tells himself, it's kindness, letting them die without terror. But he knows the truth. He has chosen his own survival over theirs and wrapped cowardice in the language of mercy. The Mongols do not kill in rage or passion. They kill like accountants balancing ledgers, reducing Samarkand's population from 250,000 to 25,000, with the same mechanical precision they use to organize supply lines. Families are separated by economic utility. Children who might grow large enough for labor are spared. Those who cannot are not. By the second day, Mirza no longer hesitates when translating execution orders. He has learned to read the Mongols' hand signals. A closed fist means death. An open palm means temporary reprieve. He begins to adjust his translations accordingly, not to save lives, but to make the process smoother. When a Mongol administrator points to a cluster of elderly Arab traders and makes the closed fist signal, Mirza tells them in Arabic, "You are going to join the earlier groups by the river." The euphemism comes easily now. By evening, he has sent 847 people to their deaths with words that sound like bureaucratic reassignment. The Chinese merchant who taught him Mandarin dies on April 3rd. But first, he teaches the Mongols how to identify the most valuable silk varieties in the abandoned warehouses. Mirza translates his expertise, helping the invaders maximize the economic value of their conquest. The merchant's reward for cooperation is a quick death instead of a slow one. The Turkic caravan leader who brought jade from Khotan dies on April 12th. Mirza spends his final morning translating the man's detailed knowledge of trade routes and seasonal timing. The information will help the Mongols optimize their own supply lines. The caravan leader shares everything, thinking his expertise might earn protection for his family. His wife and children are executed 2 hours after he is. With each death, another thread in the web of languages that sustained Samarkand snaps forever. And with each translation, Mirza becomes more complicit in the severing. The fourth day brings a new horror. Children. Mongol administrators have decided that anyone under 12 requires too many resources relative to their labor potential. They need Mirza to organize the separation. Parents are told their children will be taken to a special camp for education and training. Mirza looks at the faces of children he has watched grow up in the bazaar quarters. Little Fatima, who always giggled when he taught her to count in Chinese. Young Ahmad, who could already recite Persian poetry. Xiao Wei, the silk merchant's daughter, who spoke 4 languages at age 10. The Mongol officer gives the closed fist signal. The children will go to a school. Mirza tells their parents in Arabic, Persian, and Chinese. They will learn skills useful to the empire. 300 children walk hand in hand toward the river that afternoon. Mirza does not watch, but he hears the parents' wails echoing off the city walls for hours afterward. By May, the Zarafshan River runs red for days, contaminated by bodies thrown from the city walls. The water that once supported 250,000 people now carries the remains of 90% of them toward the distant sea. The few thousand survivors, craftsmen, engineers, and administrators like Mirza, are loaded into ox carts for transport to Karakorum, the Mongol capital. They will serve the growing empire with their specialized skills, translating orders and managing the resources extracted from conquered territories. But before departure, there is one final task. Mongol record keepers need a complete inventory of Samarkand's destroyed population. They want to know exactly how many people lived in each quarter, worked in each trade, spoke each language. Mirza spends 3 days walking through empty neighborhoods with Mongol clerks, estimating the lives that once filled these spaces. In the Persian quarter, he counts 47,000 former residents. In the Chinese section, 31,000. In the Arabic quarter, 89,000. In the mixed districts where languages blended and evolved, 83,000 more. The numbers will be sent to Karakorum as proof of the expedition's success. 250,000 people eliminated with minimal Mongol casualties. Mirza's linguistic skills have allowed him to quantify the extinction he helped orchestrate. Mirza carries his seal stamps and his knowledge of 6 languages into exile. But the worlds those languages connected are gone. Not conquered or transformed, but simply erased. In Karakorum, Mongol clerks will ask him to translate administrative documents about taxation rates and population transfers. They will never ask him to negotiate silk prices or mediate cultural disputes, because there are no longer enough people left alive to create such complications. The bizarre quarters of Samarkand stand empty, their architectural differences meaningless without the communities that gave them life. Persian arches frame vacant courtyards. Chinese beams support roofs that shelter only dust. Arabic limestone walls enclose markets where no one haggles in any language at all. Mirza ibn Yusuf al-Samarkandi has become perfectly fluent in the language of the dead. He can still recite contracts in Persian, compose letters in Arabic, negotiate prices in Chinese. His pronunciation remains flawless, his grammar impeccable. But there is no one left to speak to. The Mongol military machine has done more than conquer Central Asia. It has eliminated the need for the cultural intermediaries who made that world function. Traders cannot negotiate prices when there are no traders left alive. Diplomats cannot prevent wars when there are no independent states to represent. The Silk Road still exists as a geographic feature, a series of paths connecting distant cities. But the human networks that gave those paths meaning, the relationships of trust and mutual benefit built over centuries of careful translation, have been severed as cleanly as the necks of Samarkand's merchants. Archaeological evidence from this period shows the sudden, complete abandonment of residential quarters throughout Central Asia. Cooking pots left half full, merchant stalls abandoned with goods still displayed. workshops containing tools that their owners never returned to claim. The destruction layers in Samarkand's excavated ruins speak in a language that needs no translation, the vocabulary of civilizational collapse. Mirza will live for 17 more years in Mongol service, translating administrative documents and tax records. He will never again negotiate a commercial contract between independent merchants or mediate a cultural dispute between equals. But he will dream every night of the words he spoke that spring, the gentle lies that made murder easier, the bureaucratic euphemisms that dressed slaughter in the language of efficiency. The nightmares come in 6 languages. Hassan the coppersmith asks, in Persian, why Mirza told him the walk to the river was safe. Little Fatima asks in Arabic, why the school by the water was full of swords instead of books. The silk merchant's daughter asks in Chinese, why her father's cooperation earned her family nothing but quicker deaths. In his dreams, Mirza answers honestly. But even in sleep, his responses come too late. The world he was built to inhabit, complex, multilingual, dependent on careful communication between different peoples, has been replaced by something simpler, the standardized efficiency of imperial administration, where commands flow in one direction and compliance is the only acceptable response. He has outlived his purpose by outliving his world. The languages he speaks with such fluency now serve only to catalogue the remnants of what the Mongol Empire has consumed. In his final years, Mirza will sometimes recite Persian poetry to empty rooms or practice Chinese calligraphy on papers that no one will read, not because these skills might someday prove useful again, but because they are all that remains of a civilization that once required him to exist. When he dies in 1254, alone in a Karakoram administrative compound, Mirza's last words are spoken in the Turkic dialect of his childhood, the first language he learned before he discovered that speaking many languages could be both salvation and damnation. The interpreter survives, but the conversations he was meant to facilitate have ended forever. And in the silence that follows, only the echoes remain. 6 languages spoken fluently by a man who used them all to perfect the art of collaborative extinction.